What's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast. I'm Aaron,
I'm Laura.
and this is the Dating and Marriage Podcast. Hey, guys, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Dating and Marriage Podcast. I'll put the link, boom, right here at Dating and Marriage Podcast. Also, follow us on Instagram, our separate social medias. I'll also put those down at the bottom so you guys can follow us as well. We post a lot of stuff, trying to get to know you guys better, trying to get the audience more engaged, see where you guys are at in your walks of life, if you're dating, if you're trying to date, not dating yet, or if you're married. And yeah, follow us on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Be sure to like and subscribe and put some comments, put some questions at the bottom so we have more content to give you guys. That would be super dope. But without further ado, thanks for watching today's podcast.
Howdy.
What's going on, everyone?
Welcome to the Dating and Marriage Podcast. I'm Laura.
And I'm Aaron. Ron. Hello. Happy Thanksgiving. We're recording this early, by the way, because we got stuff going on this weekend.
Yes, our weekend got really packed really fast.
It's a good thing. What did we do last week? What's our recap?
I've been having a really hard time remembering what I've been doing because there's just a lot. It's just the season. It's the time of year. There's always things going on. What did we do? Oh, the Bills won.
Bills won. That's huge. Dude, the Bills beat the Chiefs.
Bills beat the Chiefs. We did something for everyone.
We saved everyone from an undefeated Chiefs, which
And
would have
I'm
been
not
really
sorry
annoying.
if you're a Chiefs fan.
Sorry, guys. Not sorry.
I get really competitive with this stuff, and sometimes I get a little bit mean, but it's okay. It's just football.
I love it.
What else did we do?
I don't know. I can't remember. What did we do? We went on a date. That was nice.
We did.
We went to the park. I thought there was going to be like stars and stuff out, but not really.
Yeah.
But it was still nice. It was nice to go out, plan some time, eat a little dinner at the park,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, it's good to hang out and continue dating your spouse. Don't forget to do that because we are notorious for that. And sometimes we just forget.
Yeah.
And it'll be weeks before we go on a date.
It's true.
It does happen. It does happen. But make sure it's not weeks. Make sure you go on a date every week. It's important. You can make the time for it.
What are we talking about today?
We are going to talk about being as subtle as a sandwich. Aaron's looking at me like I have no idea what we're talking about today. That's okay.
No, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. You
Yeah.
had a good, you had some time with the Lord, and He showed you some stuff. So we're gonna talk about that today.
Basically, what we're going to discuss is romance through the intimacy of the Father. So what the heck does that mean?
Sounds like a sermon title.
Well, the subtle as a sandwich is the sermon title.
Okay.
That's what really keys people in, It's like we're talking about a sandwich, but we're not talking about a sandwich. So basically, what I wanted to ask you, Aaron, is as a man, and all guys are going to be different on this question, but I think that this is an important question to ask somebody that you've been dating for a little while. Is what is their idea of intimacy and what is their idea of romance?
Ooh. For a man, I would say your idea of romance is like kind of the typical, like going out, getting flowers, going to a place, going to dinner. To me, that's kind of like what romance means. And
But what
then-
does it mean to you? Like, because every guy's gonna romance their woman differently. So
Yeah.
how do you romance?
It's a good question. I like to do things for you. I would say that's my romance. But every guy's different too.
Exactly.
And then I would say intimacy is spending time together. Or it could be, for me, it's really just quality time, I think. That's my intimacy. It's quality time.
Yeah. And the reason why I asked Aaron that is because
Put me on the spot.
I think a lot of women put an idea of what romance is in their minds, and they don't understand that not every guy has that same idea, right? So not every guy is going to be the Hallmark movie guy, and I think that we need to understand that with our significant other, because what we end up doing is we set these expectations on them that are so high, and it's really out of their reach. It's not normal for them. It's very uncomfortable. And a lot of the time they just don't understand it. So I think that that is a great question to ask somebody that you're dating. Like, what is your idea of being romantic? So I can better understand you. So I know when you're being romantic. And this revelation came about is because there's been times where, I've gotten like down, and I've asked myself, well, like, why isn't Aaron bringing me flowers? Or we're not going on a lot of dates. We don't go out to dinner, things like that. And I felt personally that the romance just, it wasn't there. Like there weren't things being done to like romance me. And what I had to do is I took it to the Father, and he basically told me, he was like, well, that's an expectation of yours, not Aaron's.
Mm.
So you need to search and understand that Aaron's romance comes through the intimacy that he has with me, and me being God. And he will shine that through when he has intimacy with me. And it was like a really interesting concept for me to grasp and understand. And it really all came down to self-centeredness in the end. Because I was setting up expectations of what I wanted and what I desired, that I was completely clouded by all the things that Aaron was doing for me. And that was he was being romantic. But I wanted my stuff so bad that I couldn't even see what he was doing.
Do you think though that the man needs to yes, he needs to take initiative, but do the things that the woman deems as romantic also? Like, shouldn't there be like a split, like a 50-50 split? Or is it just on the woman to accept whatever the man thinks is his idea or act of romance?
Well, when you ask me that question, I have to ask you the same question. So what answer would you like? So do I
ask first?
Because you have an idea of romance for yourself as well. So
I think that, yeah, I mean, that it just kind of depends, right? Like, it depends on the couple, I guess. But I mean, what would you think for other people though?
well, I think first you need to ask yourself, why do I need the flowers so badly? Or why do I need the box of chocolates so badly? Or whatever, like, your idea of romance is. And really ask yourself, like, why do I need that so bad from my significant other? So if it's a reason of, well, I just need to be seen, or I need that act of service from them is what makes me know that they love me, then, that might be an area in your relationship that you need to have a conversation about. Because it's really hard. It's just the same thing with the love languages. I can't expect Aaron to meet my love language because it's not his love language. So I do understand, and not to say that Aaron never brings me flowers. He does. It's on occasion, and he does bring me them, and it's awesome and it's wonderful. But in my perfect world, I'd love to come home to flowers every week, fresh flowers. But for Aaron, he doesn't have the time for it. And
it's $15 a flower.
It's $15 a flower. And for his mind, he's like, well, that's a waste of money because we could be doing something else with that. So, we have to understand, like, okay, how much is too much? And where can we find the balance of what we desire and what our spouses desire?
That's good. Budget for flowers.
It's just a balancing act. I really think it is. And I think Aaron does a great job at it, because if he brought me flowers every week, the anticipation and the surprise, it would
get old.
lower, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be
It would
like,
get old.
I wouldn't appreciate it as much, because he was just giving me what I wanted.
Mm.
So, I really think we have to seek inside ourselves and be like, well, why am I not feeling romanced, or why am I not feeling intimacy? And then that all goes back to the Father. Like, are you feeling intimate with him?
That's really good.
And we really need to ask ourselves that question.
Yeah, I feel like not a lot of people put the reflectors on themselves, right? They're always like, you didn't do this, you did this, they need to do this. It's always you, and them, but it's never me, what I can do differently,
Yeah.
right? Never.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of sad that it's so rare that you see people constantly like reflecting on themselves in situations in daily life. It's like, okay, what can I do better? How did I mess up? How did my thinking mess me up there?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what you really have to do is like take almost like an inventory. And that's kind of what the Lord had me do. He was like, I need you to take an inventory of the last 2 weeks and the conversations you've had with Aaron. Because women, we remember those things. And the things that he's done for you, I want you to like write it all down, and I want you to process it. And I actually, with that time, I started noticing these like subtle little things. And even a couple of them were some text messages that Aaron was sending me. And, you know, as some of you know, Aaron loves to fish more than most people.
It's true.
And it's not only is it a like alone time for him, but it's a sacred place for him with the Father. You know, he gets a lot of thinking done. There's a lot of alone time with God. It's a space that he's created for himself. And there's been so many instances, even in the last like 2 weeks, where Aaron's been like, I saw this husband and wife, like they were out on the water together, and she had a kayak and he had a float tube, and I want to do that with you. And you know, for me, that's like so little. It's so small. I'm just like, okay, yeah, like of course. But for Aaron, whether they know it or not, he's just invited me into his intimate space with the Lord. On like a whole other level, right? So he's invited me into his secret place with God. And if you want to talk about romance, like if you really like,
that's romance.
If you break it down to what it actually is,
that's romance
to your significant other, like it's romantic. But I personally, I would have never asked for that. That would have never been something that would have romanced me in the past.
Let me put you on some fish real quick. That's romance.
So just so you guys know, like you really have to find these like little things in your significant other. And it comes out, and you'll understand like, wow, like they really are trying, and like they're going above and beyond trying.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. And a great example of this was, I actually had a patient come in the other day, and she's like an amazing cook, right? And like incredible. So I asked her, hey, what are you making for Thanksgiving? And she was kind of bummed. She was like, I'm not cooking this year. And I was like, what? Like, you're not cooking? That's crazy. And she goes, yeah, my husband, he doesn't want me to cook. He just wants me to go to Vons and grab the pre-made meals for Thanksgiving and, you know, just pop them in the oven. And you could tell in her heart, it was like crushing her, because she loves to cook. And I think we as women can take that as well, he doesn't appreciate my cooking the way that I do. It's like an act of love, but he didn't appreciate it. So I looked at her and I said, you know what? It sounds like your husband wants to spend more time with you. So he's trying to take you out of the kitchen so you're not cooking all day, so he can hang out with you all day instead. And it's all about the way you look at it. and her eyes immediately lit up. And she was like, oh my gosh, I've never considered that once before. And I was like,
Wow.
it might be a good thing. And spend time with him, watch the game with him, hang out with him, because obviously he's trying to talk to you. And I really think that we need to be listening to each other in between the lines.
Dang. Yeah, that's good. Also, side note, I saw a reel this week when you said that she loves to cook of this guy. It was like, I think I might have sent it to you, but he was like, if you don't cook, don't sign up for a meal for Thanksgiving. Just grab a salad, get the side salad,
Get the pre-made,
get
whatever.
the pre-made. Don't sign up to cook. Take something that's actually needs to be good. It's just unnecessary. Don't do it. That was really funny.
Yeah.
That's where my mind goes.
Yeah, it does go off into random places, but I love it.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Yeah, I just think that, we really need to be paying attention to our partners, like just in between the lines. And sometimes we think we're listening, but we're really not. And people will always say like, women are such a mystery or men are such a mystery. And it's like, no, they're really not. You're just not listening.
Ooh, that's good.
Like actively listening and paying attention.
That's something I could do better. I could definitely be active listening and listen to what you're saying, but not saying. That's like, I guess that's the tough thing for men, I feel like, because women are I feel like you guys communicate in different ways, not just with your words, and we're very like verbal and audio type of communications where like what you say is like what I'm getting. And I think like I can do a better job of reading between the lines more, and never like what I say. It's like take it for face value. You know what I mean? Like I feel like most men are like that, where it's what we say is like we're not trying to hurt you, or we're not trying to be malicious, or we're not trying to, say some other thing by what we're saying. What we're saying is what we just said. And that's kind of where men and women, I feel like, kind of get miscommunicated a little bit. But I think understanding our significant other more, whether we're dating or we're married, is going to be better for everyone in the long run. And knowing how your spouse communicates too. Like if you know that they're not huge verbal communicators, but they're nonverbal communicators, you have to like look at them while they're talking. And that takes like actual effort to listen to them,
Yeah.
Like, okay, I got to put my phone down. I'm sorry, what did you say? Let me look at you. That's something I need to do more.
Yeah. And just catching your spouse at the right times. Like if I know that Aaron's on like a fishing like trip box, it's not going to happen tonight. Like that's just what it is. And it's not a bad thing. It's not that he's neglecting or not choosing to listen. It's his brain he's just on like a different level than I am. And I'm not going to pull him out of that and be like, you need to listen to me, because he's passionate about something. He's having fun with something. I'm not going to try and pull that out. But, I think something that we could all work on is like, I understand like our passions and things like that. I think the things that we might be able to kind of interrupt our spouse with is scrolling, social media, things like that. If they're not working, but they're scrolling, things like that is, I'm notorious for that. I actually get rid of social media regularly because I just scroll, and Aaron will be talking to me and I'm scrolling and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like not even here listening to him. So, that's a huge thing with me is I will not scroll when Aaron's talking to me. I think it's rude to do that to your significant other. And it's something that we could all work on.
Yeah. And I feel like for women, like this has helped me a lot when you're trying to talk to me about something important, is when you're like, hey, I need your full attention right now. Like it's not nothing bad, but I just need I need you here right now. Just some type of cue
Yeah.
to let me, okay, redirect, get in that space that I can listen. Because most of the time, yeah, I'm listening, but I'm kind of in la la land. You know what I mean? But for women, I feel like if you, not in a malicious way, I need your full attention right now, like your mom, that's not gonna happen. Sorry, you just lost.
Yeah.
When you say what are some of the things you say to me? Hey,
I'll be like, hey, Aaron, I could.
wait, when you're ready, I need your full.
Yeah. I'll usually say when you're ready, or when you have some time.
Yeah.
But when you say that, you do not, it's not your time, it's their time.
Yeah.
So if you're going to use the time thing with anything,
It's true.
ladies, it's now you've given them full reign. But if you say, hey, in 10 minutes, can I talk to you? Then great. You've set yourself up for 10 minutes. Because they are your spouse. They can put aside some time to talk to you. And I think with guys, if you just tell them exactly, that's a good thing.
I feel like you need to preface it with, if it's not scary, tell them that it's not scary.
Yeah.
Because now, I'm going to, if you told me, hey, I need to talk to you in 10 minutes, I'm going to be what do you need to talk to me about? Why am I anxious now? Right. You don't do that, but
I'll just be like, hey, Aaron, I want to chat with you about something. It's not a bad thing or anything, but I just need to get something off my mind, and talk through it with you. That's usually what I say. I want to talk through something with you.
Or you can say, just give them a little teaser of what you're going to be talking about. Hey, I need to talk to you in 10 minutes when you're ready, whatever, about our plans for next week, about this.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then, whenever I'm ready, or in 10 minutes, boom. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So now I know what the conversation is going to be about. It's not scary. It's about something specific. And I already have maybe answers or questions about it going into the conversation, if it's an important conversation. But if you're just if you want to just word vomit on guys, which women do a lot, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, and you need their full attention for you to word vomit or complain about your day, then that might be something you need to check, one. And two, if it is important and they need to listen, then tell them hey, I had a really bad day, can I get your full attention? And then that's okay, yes, you can get my full attention, let me listen. But you have to tell me that for women, I feel like you have to tell men hey, I need your full attention right now, because that's what I need. It helps a lot.
Yeah.
You're really good at that.
Sometimes I'll just word vomit on Aaron, and I know he's not listening, but I don't really care. I just needed to say it out loud, and then I don't really need a response. And I'm I already know he's in a different world. He's maybe catching up on a couple of things. I'm going way too fast for him, but I don't need any response. I just needed to tell somebody to get it out of my mouth. And that's, you have to be understanding of that as well.
Yeah. I'm an internal processor. So I'll think about it for a little bit, and then I'll be okay. That's usually how I roll. But
yeah. Know your spouse.
Know your spouse.
What did Jesus say to his disciples when he was speaking in parables? And Peter was bro, I don't know what you're saying. And he just kept speaking in parables. And then Peter was can you say something normal? Because this doesn't make any sense to us. And he was those who know me will hear me. So know your spouse.
That's really good.
Yep. That's what we got for you.
My voice. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, make sure to follow us at Dating and Marriage Podcast on Instagram. I'll link our little thing down at the bottom. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Go ahead and share this with a buddy, because we really appreciate that, and it helps us grow. We're trying to be as consistent as possible. Check out our links at the bottom. We're going to be putting out more content on our links, as far as little PDFs, little helpful hints for you guys, stuff that can help you grow in your relationship with your spouse, with your boyfriend, girlfriend, and with the Lord. All right, that is to come. We just actually got to get around and do it. At me. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thanks, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.